to my brain, my heart, sports talk with Mike. Today, Final Four. I'm excited. I'm not drinking any beers right now because honestly, my fridge is full. We got Louisville against Wichita State and Michigan versus Syracuse. Back to back. I'm so pumped. I can't even explain how excited I am. I'm just like, not even to drink the beers, just the games in general. I mean, what happens if Louisville loses? And then everything involving Kevin Ware, but winning for the team winning for Kevin Ware, all the T-shirts and everything, that just goes down the drain. And for me, it doesn't even matter. I want Syracuse to win because that's who I have winning in my bracket. If Syracuse loses, Michigan can win because they got that Canadian there, that shooter, 46 out of 50 3-pointers. YouTube that shit. All right, today's episode, I was just kind of wondering, I mean, what players are evolving into captains in the NHL? Which ones seem to possess the natural leadership that a captain needs, or just maybe they don't even need to be vocal. They just they need to have that presence that a captain has. So I went through all 30 teams and give my predictions on who's going to be a future captain on that team, and also what head coaches in the NHL are on the hot seat. Which ones need to be looking for work soon. So we're going to start off with the Anaheim Ducks. Their future captain. Now, this is for every team. It's barring any trades. So if any trades happen, this is if no trades happen. Nothing can really just change it. It's just this is the team. Any player that they drafted, kind of thing. No trades, no free agents. This is it. Hampus Lindholm. Lindholm? Yeah, Lindholm. Hampus Lindholm. He's a defenseman coming out of Sweden. He was drafted 6th overall last season. He reminds me of Scott Niedermayer a bit, where he can kind of, the way that he moves up with the rush with the forwards, and he's not a big body. He doesn't hammer guys out, but he handles himself very well, and I think he has that that presence that I'm talking about. Future captain in Anaheim. Next up, Boston Bruins. Anthony Camara, playing the OHL. I just see him as a Cam Neely type player. Before he was just a big body throwing checks around, but then he started potting goals. He's a really nice power forward, and that's what the Bruins are going to need. Buffalo Sabres, I really like Cody Hodgson. I think he had a rough go at it with Vancouver, and he's coming into it nicely, and I see him really just taking ownership of the puck, ownership on the ice, really helping out the team, and he looks like a captain type player. Calgary Flames, John Gaudreau. He's up for the Hobey Baker Award there in the NCAA. If you watched the World Juniors of this year, he's just phenomenal. The scoring touch is insane. He looks like a Theo Fleury meets Jerome McGinley type player. Just a leadership and just tenacious type forward. So I like that about Gaudreau. Carolina Hurricanes, I know they got Jeff Skinner, but I don't actually see him as a captain. I like Justin Shugg. He just seems to be a guy that carries himself very well, a young man that really kind of takes it upon himself to do whatever the team needs him to do. So Shugg, you're my man as captain. Chicago Blackhawks, Brandon Saad, he just... I guess he's the same thing as Anthony Camara, where it's just he goes to the net, puts the body on body, back checks, scores. He just seems like a hockey player's hockey player. Yeah. The Colorado Avalanche, Duncan Siemens. He was drafted 11th overall about 2 years ago by the Avalanche. He's playing the WHL. He reminds me so much of Adam Foote, but with more fight in him. He'll drop the gloves. He score a couple goals here and there. He's just a big boy, and I can see him being a captain for the Avalanche. The Blue Jackets, Ryan Murray, drafted 2nd overall last season. He's kind of a better version of Duncan Simmons, except the fighting, and he has more offensive side to him. He looks like he's going to carry himself very well with the Blue Jackets. He'll be the future for them. the Dallas Stars, Brendan Dillon. He's on their team right now. He's making fantastic strides. He looks like he fits in perfectly for them, and he surprises me. Like when I see him, he might not be getting high point totals, but he makes a lot of things happen on the ice. The Detroit Red Wings, I like Jacob Kindle, the defenseman, young defenseman for the Red Wings. When I look at him, I see, and I think I said it before in another episode, where he's a crossover of Lindstrom and Cronwall, where, last game against the Avalanche, not last night, but a couple nights ago, he had like 8 checks, and he's continuously just getting over 5-6 hits a game, playing great defensively, he's smart offensively. I like him as a total package. The Edmonton Oilers, people are going to say Taylor Hall. I'm going to say Jordan Eberle. He just seems like Captain Canada, like how Ryan Smith was for Canada. I think Jordan Eberle, he's a perfect captain, whereas offensive forward, nice defensively. He's a happy-go-lucky guy where it's just players are going to really look up to him and want to be around him, and that's what you also need from a captain. The Florida Panthers, Jonathan Huberdeau, he has a swagger that is controlled, and when people really look at swagger, some people look at cockiness and overconfident, but Jonathan Huberdeau, his swagger is confidence in himself and other people, and he looks like he has a drive that will really rub off on his teammates, and I like that. The Los Angeles Kings, I like Derek Forbort. He's a big defenseman that looks like he reminds me of Rob Blake, and that's really where it comes from, where he throws a hit check here and there, and you don't see that too often, and he hard booming shot, and he looks like, because I don't like Drew Doughty at all, and Forbort, you're the man. And the problem is like a lot of these teams that have even gone through so far. The Hurricanes, Eric Stahl's young captain. Blackhawks, a young captain, and Taves. Avalanche have Gabriel Landeskog. So this is all just assuming these are the guys who I think can be captains for their teams if one of their current captains were to be traded or something. So. Next up, Minnesota Wild, Jonas Brodin. Young Finnish defenseman. He's just logging lots of ice time. He really puts in the work. A hard-working guy who has an amazing shot, and he's very selective. If he really was to just kind of let it all out there, he'd be even better. And offensively, too. I love it. Next up, the Montreal Canadiens, Louis LeBlanc. Come on now, he's a nice big centerman. He reminds me of Guy Lafleur, a two-way forward. Just give him a year or two, and then I think he'll be mentioned. He should be like the #1 center for the Canadiens. Bet your ass. Let's go to the Nashville Predators. Austin Watson. He's an American there. I think he plays in the WHL. Might be the OHL, I can't remember now though. But when I was looking at the draft there about, I think it was 2010, Avalanche were on the board, number 16, they drafted Joey Hishon. I wasn't mad, but I was really disappointed because they really wanted Austin Watson. He was taken by the Predators 2 picks later. He just looks like he has a lot of power in his skating, nice shot. I like Austin Watson. New Jersey Devils, I actually don't feel like they have anyone in their system, young or really. I don't think they have a captain that's in the waiting. They have Adam Henrique and John Merle. He's a defenseman, but I just don't think they have a captain that's really anyone that has that captain feeling to them. So I didn't give anyone to New Jersey. The Rangers, it was a toss-up for me. Ryan McDonough or JT Miller. I like defensemen with captains because I feel like they are captaining the whole team. From the blue line, it really takes a lot for the defensemen. One of the hardest. I think being a defenseman in the NHL is actually the hardest job, and I'll explain to you in another episode what I mean about that. But I also think JT Miller, he's just really a go-get-him type guy. Really vocal player, but I'd give it to Ryan McDonough. I have high hopes for that guy. The Islanders, John Tavares. I don't need to say anything more. But the problem is, I don't think he'll stick with the Islanders. I can actually see him moving to the Maple Leafs. I know he just kind of re-upped his contract, but I don't. But I'll give it to Tavares. If it wasn't for Tavares, I'd go with Ryan Strome. The Ottawa Senators, Mika Zibanejad. They like their Swedish captains. Daniel Alfredsson is really on his last leg, and I can see him handing it over to Mika. Well, not probably give him about 3 years, but Mika, he has a kind of offensive prowess, and he just needs to work defensively, and that's about the only downside I like about Mika. Philadelphia Flyers, Scott Loughton. He's a flyer. I mean, he brings the Broad Street Bullies back into discussion. He's a big body, throws his body around. He just needs to really contribute offensively. And he was just a rookie, so I mean, give him time, and he'll be a big captain for the Flyers. Phoenix Coyotes, Henrik Samuelsson. I really like this player. I'm pretty sure he's Ulf Samuelsson's son. So I mean that speaks. So like just by saying that's big words right there. He's power forward with a nice offensive touch to him, and I wanted the Avalanche to draft Samuelsson actually a lot. Pittsburgh Penguins, Scott Harrington, nice defensive captain for the London Knights. Really, he has a really high hockey IQ defensively, and I don't see him making a lot of mistakes at all, and I just see him growing offensively too, and I like that about Harrington. San Jose Sharks, just like with the Devils, I feel like they didn't have really a lot of talent in their system. Anyone that was really sticking out to me, Logan Couture, he might be a captain, but I don't see him being a leadership type player, and that's a problem. So that, I don't know. Sorry. And almost the same can be said with the St. Louis Blues. I mean, they got Vladimir Tarasenko. I don't think he's a captain because I think he cares more about himself than the team. Ty Ratty, he does pretty well for the Portland Winterhawks. I mean, he looks like he has a leadership, but I don't know. Alex Pietrangelo might be the only captain, really, that I think he kind of has a stature of a captain, but I don't think, I don't know, I just don't see St. Louis really having a captain in their wings. Tampa Bay Lightning, Steven Stamkos. If it wasn't for Stamkos, I'd probably go with Victor Hedman. Stamkos, I think he needs to be more of really, not a hard ass, but he really needs to get on his players, and that's what I don't know if Stamkos can do. I can see Victor Hedman really being like, come on guys, we got to step it up. I don't know if Stamkos can really do that. The Toronto Maple Leafs, some people are going to say Nazem Kadri, but I don't think Kadri has captain in him. Maybe assistant captain, maybe, but I just see him being. I mean, he's really throwing a lot of comments out there, like trying to light fire under his teammates' asses and stuff like that. But I don't see that the captain-esque in his eyes. I actually like it's Brad Ross for me. I think he has a captain, little captain in him, and eventually, like you'll see it too when he makes the jump to the NHL. Vancouver Canucks, nothing really. I thought Kevin Connauton would be their captain, but he went to the Dallas Stars in the Derek Roy trade. I like Brendan Gaunce, but I don't know if he has that vocal, really, to kind of really give a speech type deal, and I don't know if he'd be that guy for them. And Washington Capitals, it's a toss-up. Tom Wilson, nice power forward, great stick. He knows how to park in front of the net. He looks like he knows how to handle himself. Or Karl Alzner, he was the captain for Team Canada. I think it was 2007 at the World Juniors. That won gold. He looks like he's got that stature, and I keep there's almost like for captain you gotta look at a player and you can from the get-go you're like, man, that guy's a captain, and Karl Alzner has that feel. And the Winnipeg Jets, I like Mark Scheifele. I have a high on Scheifele. I think he reminds me kind of a mixture of Joe Sakic meets Chris Draper. Actually, I think he's working on it defensively, and eventually he'll get it. So there you have it. Those are who I think will be captains, who can be captains for their teams. If you think I messed up on some team, if someone else should be a captain, just let me know. So here's some coaches that are on the hot seat. In Anaheim, Bruce Boudreau, you are safe. Boston Bruins, Claude Julien, you are safe as well. Buffalo Sabres, Rolston, I don't see you being the captain of the future. I actually like Phil Housley. He's a head coach for a high school in Minnesota. I think he can fit in perfectly for the Sabres. Calgary, if next year doesn't plan, like if they're in a rebuild mode, so Hartley, I give him until next year. If it doesn't really pan out for him, I can think Mika Kiprusoff could be our head coach there. Carolina Hurricanes, Kirk Muller, I don't see him really sticking out there. I mean, they have so much firepower and not working out. Mid-season next season, they'll probably let him go. Ron Francis can be a good head coach for them. Chicago Blackhawks, Joel Quenneville, he had them on that streak, so he's fine. Joe Sacco of the Colorado Avalanche, he's the head coach that there's no way he's being retained after this season. Patrick Waugh, I think Patrick Waugh would be the general manager. Maybe head coach. Joe Sakic, he could be head coach or general manager, those two. But I like George Wadecki. I think that I pronounced it right. He was the head coach of the Denver University. He helped them get to like 2 Final Fours in like 19 years. I think he helped them win actually twice. So he could be good for the head coaching position. Columbus Blue Jackets, I actually like Todd Richards. I have no problems with him. Dallas, Glutzen looks shaky. Craig Berube, I'm pretty sure he's the assistant captain, assistant coach in Philadelphia. I can see him doing a nice work in Dallas. I think he actually played for the Stars once in his career. Detroit Red Wings, Mike Babcock, no problems. Edmonton, I'm going to give Kruger the benefit of the doubt until after next season. If they make the playoffs this season or next season, okay. If they miss it both seasons, hot seat, buddy. Kevin Dineen won't last long in Florida. He's just one of those unlucky coaches that have the players that are just injured. I want Lindy Ruff to coach the Panthers. I think Ruff would do really good for the Panthers. That's all I can say. For the Kings, Daryl Sutter, you're good. Mike Yao in Minnesota, you're fine. Michel Therrien for the Canadiens, no problems there. Nashville, Barry Trotz will be okay unless they miss the playoffs this year and they get off to a horrible start next year. He's the longest tenure coach in the NHL. I'll give him until the mid-next season if they come out the gate slow. I expect Steve Konowalchuk is a head coach in the WHL. He could get a head coaching job for Nashville. The Devils, I don't like DeBoer at all, and they went to the Stanley Cup Finals last year. They look like they're primed to get into the cups into the playoffs this year. But eventually, Scott Stevens is going to take a hold of the head coaching position there, and I think the reason why DeBoer will be let go is because the Devils don't want Stevens coaching anywhere else. John Tortorella with the Rangers. If the Rangers don't go deep this year, even the second round, third round, they need to get past the first round. I don't even know if they're going to make the playoffs. That's the problem. And he looks like he's out the door. Doug Waite, he's an assistant coach in the Islanders organization. I can see him jumping over to the Rangers and being a nice captain for them, or coach for them, sorry. And the Islanders, Capuana, he'll have until mid-season too. The Islanders, they're in the playoff position right now. But mid-season, if it's just slow, they're not making progress. I like Doug Huda. He's an assistant coach in the Bruins organization. I find he's like a hard-ass type guy, and the Islanders might need that. The Ottawa Senators, Paul McLean, you're fine with your mustache. Peter Laviolette, he'll be gone soon from the Flyers. They're having a terrible year this year. Brizgalov is one of the main concerns, but I actually think Chris Pronger should retire and take over the head coaching position in Philadelphia. Imagine him. I watched the conference, and with his glasses, he looked like a coach giving a conference. I like that. Dave Tibbett is good for Phoenix unless they miss the playoffs this year. And if they get moved to Quebec, then Patrick Waugh will be their head coach. If they stay for longer, I think Jeremy Roenick could be a nice head coach for the Coyotes. Dan Bylsma, you're fine with the Penguins. McClellan for the Sharks. It's always been the same. That they don't have enough to get to the Stanley Cup Finals. I actually like Larry Robinson. He's their assistant coach right now, and he'll take over the head coaching position if the Sharks don't get to the finals this year. Ken Hitchcock in the for the Blues. He's fine, but I don't know for how long. Give him 2 years. 2 years. Hitchcock. John Cooper, he's a new coach of the Tampa Bay Lightning. I think he's actually going to help the Lightning really transition into one of the premier teams in the coming years. Maple Leafs, hard to say, but Randy Carlyle, you're doing wonders for them. Vancouver Canucks, if they don't go deep this year, I think they need to make a change. I think Alain Vigneault needs to get out of there. And I like Tony Granato. I believe he's an assistant coach for the, I don't know if it's, I'm pretty sure it's the Penguins actually. And he was a head coach for the Avalanche for a couple of years. He didn't do too bad of a job. Try him there. He looks like he has the face of a Vancouver Canuck. Capitals, Oates is looking pretty good. It took Washington a bit to get going, but Adam Oates, you're doing fine. And the Winnipeg Jets. I don't like Claude Noel at all. He thinks he doesn't. He just kind of brushes things off. He's like, oh yeah, we're fine in the playoffs. Oh, don't worry, we're playoffs. So he doesn't really tell it like it is. I actually like Craig Ramsey. I think he's an assistant coach for the Florida Panthers. I'm pretty sure actually. I don't think, I know it. Assistant coach for the Florida Panthers. He had the head coaching position for the Atlanta Thrashers for a year, but it's just an unlucky position, and then he was let go when they moved to Winnipeg. So Noel at the door, put Ramsey in, and he'll do wonders for the Jets. I think he has a kick-ass type mentality. So there you have it. If you think a head coach I said was safe isn't actually safe, let me know. And if you think there's a coach that could take a head coaching position that I did mention, speak up. No problems. Tweet me at sportswithmike or email me sportstalkwithmike@hotmail.com. You enjoy your weekend. You enjoy the Final Four tonight. Hell yeah. That's it for my brain, my heart. Sports Talk with Mike. That's it, folks.